Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cowboys and Cattle. In our last episode, Amy visited Jack with Lindy and asked Lisa for Lou's phone number. Lisa was stunned and suspicious, worried this might be Nathan's manipulation. But Amy broke down, unable to articulate what she's going through. Lisa shared a heartbreaking story about her own sister, how a misunderstanding created years of distance and regret, and urged Amy to reconcile with Lou before it's too late. Amy got emotional and received Katie and Georgie's numbers to reach Lou. Meanwhile, Lou continued her dangerous undercover operation at Silver Creek Ranch, touring the facilities as businesswoman Louise Parker. But then she spotted a familiar figure working with horses in the distance. She moved closer, and the impossible happened. It was Ty Borden, Amy's supposedly dead husband, alive and working at the council ranch. But Ty didn't recognize Lou at all. He introduced himself as Noah Smith, claimed to be from Oregon, and said he'd only been working with horses for a few months. The episode ended with Lou in the FBI vehicle trying to process this devastating discovery. If you've been shocked by these revelations, please hit that like button and subscribe. Today's episode shows Lou struggling to comprehend what she's just witnessed. Ty Borden is alive but has no memory of his past life, his wife, his daughter, or Heartland. Lou's mind is reeling with questions. She has no time to answer, because, in the middle of processing this impossible truth, Lou receives an urgent call that will turn her shock into pure terror. Nathan has disappeared. They've lost track of him. And Lou is still on council property, exposed and vulnerable. What happens next will determine whether Lou's undercover mission ends in success or catastrophic failure. This is episode 48, and the collision everyone feared is about to become horrifyingly real. FBI, vehicle, leaving Silver Creek Ranch. Lou sat in the back seat of the SUV, staring out the window as they drove down the long gravel access road away from Silver Creek Ranch. Her hands were shaking in her lap, her breathing shallow and rapid. Agent Walsh kept glancing at her in the rearview mirror with concern, while Agent Chen had turned around in the passenger seat to watch Lou carefully. "Lou, we need you to talk to us. What did you see back there?" "Who was that trainer?" Lou's voice came out, barely above a whisper.
"That was Ty Borden, my sister's husband. But he's supposed to be dead."
"Dead? What do you mean?"
"Ty died 5 years ago. The hospital have confirmed his death. We had a funeral. Amy and Lindy mourned him. We all mourned him. He's been dead for 5 years."
"But you're certain that was him? Not someone who just looks similar?"
"I'm certain. I know Ty Borden. I lived with him at Heartland. I watched him work with horses hundreds of times. That's him. The way he moves, the way he handles horses, his build, his face, that's Ty."
Lou's mind was spinning with impossibilities. She'd seen Ty's body, but apparently he hadn't. He was alive, working at a council ranch in Montana under the name Noah Smith.
"He didn't recognize me. He looked right at me, and there was nothing. No recognition at all. They're calling him Noah Smith. He thinks he's from Oregon. He said he's only been working with horses for a few months."
Memory loss? Amnesia from the accident, maybe?
"No, this is deliberate. The ranch manager said Noah just joined them a few weeks ago. Agent Morrison said Nathan is part of the council. Don't you see? I think Nathan brought Ty here. Nathan erased his memory somehow, made him forget everything, his wife, his daughter, Heartland, his entire life."
The implications were staggering. Ty Borden hadn't died. Somehow, someway, he'd ended up in the council's hands, and Nathan Price, the man who'd entered Amy's life 3 years after Ty's supposed death, had done something to Ty that erased his memory and turned him into Noah Smith, a ranch hand who didn't remember anything about his past. "Lou, that's a serious accusation. Memory erasure isn't easy. It would require significant psychological trauma or conditioning."
"I don't know how Nathan did it, but that's Ty Borden working at that ranch with no memory of who he is. And Nathan is the only connection between Ty's disappearance and him ending up here.
Lou felt tears forming. She thought about Amy, about Lindy. They'd been grieving Ty for 5 years, living with the pain of his loss, trying to move forward. And the whole time, Ty was alive, captured by the council, his memory erased, turned into someone else. And then Nathan had entered their lives, had become Amy's boyfriend, had positioned himself at Heartland, while memoryless Ty worked at a council ranch in Montana. It couldn't be a coincidence. Nathan had done something to Ty, and then Nathan had moved in on Ty's grieving widow. The cruelty of it was breathtaking. We need to report this to Agent Morrison immediately. If there's a council member working at Silver Creek Ranch who was previously connected to your family.
No, you don't understand. Ty isn't part of the council. He was at Heartland. He was a good man who loved my sister and their daughter. Whatever happened to him, whatever the council did to him, he's a victim. Not a criminal.
But if Nathan erased his memory and placed him at a council facility,
then Nathan has been controlling both of them. Ty at the ranch, Amy at Heartland. Using both of them for whatever sick purposes the council has.
Lou's phone suddenly buzzed in her pocket. Not the FBI-issued encrypted phone, but her regular personal phone that she used to contact Dex, Marcus, Ashley, and Caleb. She pulled it out and saw Marcus Chen's name on the screen.
It's Marcus, my investigator friend.
You can take it. We're clear of the ranch now. Lou answered the call with shaking hands.
Marcus?
Lou, we have a problem. A big problem. His voice was urgent, almost panicked. Lou's stomach dropped.
What's wrong?
Nathan, we've been tracking him since he left Hudson. Dex lost him on the road, so I picked up surveillance using traffic cameras and border crossing data. I was able to follow his route toward Montana. But about 3 hours ago, we lost him completely.
What do you mean, lost him?
I mean, he disappeared. His vehicle hasn't appeared on any traffic cameras, hasn't been spotted at any major intersections or border checkpoints I have access to. It's like he vanished. Lou felt ice forming in her veins.
Could he have stopped somewhere? Pulled off the highway?
Maybe, but Lou, the last confirmed sighting was on Highway 2 in Montana, heading toward the Elk Ridge region. That's where you are. That's where the council ranch is.
How long ago was the last sighting?
5-6 hours. If he's been driving this whole time, he could be at Silver Creek Ranch right now. Or very close. The world seemed to tilt. Lou looked out the window at the Montana landscape passing by, suddenly feeling exposed and vulnerable.
Marcus? I was just at Silver Creek Ranch. I toured it with my FBI team. We left maybe 10 minutes ago.
Then you need to get as far away from that area as possible. If Nathan sees you there, if he recognizes you...
I know what happens.
Lou, I've been trying to reach you for the past hour, but your phone was off, or unreachable. I finally got through now. Has Nathan tried to contact Amy? Does he know you're in Montana?
Amy thinks he went to Calgary. He lied to her about his destination. But as far as I know, Nathan has no idea I'm here investigating. This should be a horrible coincidence, not him specifically looking for me.
Should be. But with Nathan, we can't assume anything. He's too smart, too careful. Get somewhere safe. Get somewhere with your FBI team where you're protected.
I will. Thank you for the warning, Marcus.
She ended the call and immediately looked at Agent Walsh with wide, frightened eyes.
Nathan is in Montana. They lost track of him 3 hours ago. The last confirmed sighting was on Highway 2 heading toward this region.
Agent Chen immediately pulled out her FBI phone and started typing rapidly. Agent Walsh's jaw tightened. When was the last sighting?
Approximately 5 hours ago. He could be anywhere by now.
I'm alerting Agent Morrison and the surveillance team. If Nathan Price is in the area, we need to know immediately. Lost track of Nathan Price. Last seen 5 hours ago heading toward the Elkridge region. Unknown current location. Retreat immediately. Abort current operations. Return to safe house. Do not engage if you encounter Nathan. Repeat, do not engage.
They're ordering us to retreat, back to the apartment in Elkridge.
Makes sense. If Nathan is in the area and sees you at or near the ranch, your cover is blown. We need to get you somewhere secure. They were still on the access road leading away from Silver Creek Ranch, about a mile from the property's main buildings. The gravel road stretched ahead of them, leading to the highway another 2 miles away. Lo turned to look back at the ranch through the rear window. In the distance, she could see the corrals, the barns, the tiny figure of someone working with horses, Tid, or Noah, or whoever he was now. She'd found him. After 5 years of believing he was dead, she'd found Ty Borden alive. But she couldn't talk to him, couldn't tell him who he really was, couldn't bring him back to Amy and Lindy, because doing any of that would expose her investigation and potentially put everyone in more danger.
We have to come back, for Ty. We can't just leave him there with no memory, working for the council.
We will. But first, we need to make sure you're safe. If Nathan discovers you investigating council operations, he could kill you, Lou. The council doesn't tolerate threats. Lou knew she was right, but it felt wrong to drive away knowing Tell was back there, knowing he had no idea who he really was. She was about to turn back around when something caught her eye. Movement on the access road behind them. Back toward the ranch. A vehicle. A black SUV. Coming from the direction of Silver Creek Ranch's main buildings. Lou's blood turned to ice.
There's a vehicle behind us, coming from the ranch.
Agent Walsh immediately looked in the rearview mirror. Agent Chen turned to look back through the rear window. I see it. Black SUV. Can't tell the make yet. It's too far away.
Nathan drives a black SUV, exactly like that.
The vehicle was still distant. Maybe half a mile back, but it was definitely approaching. Moving at a steady speed up the gravel access road, the same road Lou's vehicle was on. There was nowhere to turn off. The access road was a single route connecting Silver Creek Ranch to the highway. Lou's FBI vehicle and the black SUV were heading toward each other on the same road, with nowhere for either to avoid the other. Could be anyone. Ranch employee, delivery driver, another visitor. Could be, but we're not taking chances. He increased their speed slightly, trying to reach the highway turnoff before they met the black SUV. But they were still at least 1.5 miles from the highway, and the black SUV was closing the distance. Lou stared at the approaching vehicle, her heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. The SUV was close enough now that she could make out some details. The boxy shape, the dark color, the way it moved across the rough gravel road. It looked exactly like Nathan's vehicle. Lou, get down, below the window line. If it is Nathan, we don't want him seeing your face. Lou immediately ducked down, crouching in the back seat so she was hidden from view. Her FBI wire was still recording everything, transmitting to the surveillance team monitoring from a distance. They would hear what was happening even if they couldn't see it. I'm pulling up the description of Nathan Price's vehicle from our intelligence files. Lou heard her tapping on her phone rapidly. Nathan drives a black GMC Yukon, Montana plates. Let me see if I can get the plate number. The SUV is getting closer. Maybe 1/4 mile now. Lou wanted to look, wanted to see if it was really Nathan, but she stayed low in the back seat. If it was Nathan and he saw Lou Fleming in an FBI vehicle with federal agents, everything would be over. Her cover would be blown, the investigation would be compromised, and Nathan would know his criminal operations had been discovered. And Lou would be in extreme danger. The council eliminated threats. That's what Agent Morrison had said. If they discovered Lou was FBI connected investigating their operations, they would kill her. I can see the vehicle more clearly now. The black SUV looks like a GMC, Can't see the plates yet? Lou's breathing was coming in shallow gasps. She was crouched in the back seat of an FBI vehicle on a council property's access road, hiding from a black SUV that might contain Nathan Price, while her mind was still reeling from discovering Ty Borden alive with no memory. This was a nightmare, an impossible nightmare. If it is Nathan, we pass him normally. Don't make eye contact. Don't slow down. Just two vehicles passing on a rural road. And if he recognizes us, recognizes Lou, then we call for immediate extraction and get Lou to safety. The surveillance team is monitoring this transmission. They know where we are. The black SUV was very close now. Lou could hear the crunch of its tires on gravel even through her own vehicle's engine noise. Here it comes. Lou, stay down. Don't move. Lou pressed herself as low as she could in the back seat, her face nearly touching the floor mat. Her encrypted phone buzzed with an incoming text. Surveillance team monitoring. If Nathan Price spotted, we extract immediately. Stand by. The sound of the approaching vehicle grew louder. Lou could hear it clearly now, could imagine the black SUV getting closer and closer to their vehicle. 30 feet. 20. Here we go. Lou held her breath. Time seemed to slow down. She heard the black SUV pass them. The sound of its engine, the crunch of gravel, the whoosh of air between the vehicles. Then, it was past, moving away behind them. It's past us, continuing toward the ranch. I couldn't see the driver clearly. Tinted windows. Could have been anyone. Did you get the plate number? Partial. Montana plates. Started with 4R. Montana plates. Started with... But Lou, it was definitely a black GMC Yukon. Lou slowly sat up, her entire body shaking with adrenaline. She turned to look out the rear window at the black SUV now behind them, getting smaller as both vehicles moved in opposite directions.
Was it him? Could you tell if it was Nathan?
I couldn't see through the tinted windows well enough to identify the driver. Dark hair, male, that's all I can say for certain. Nathan had dark hair. Nathan was male. And Nathan drove a black GMC Yukon with Montana plates. But so did probably hundreds of other people in Montana. Even if it was Nathan, he didn't stop us, didn't react, just passed normally. If he'd recognized Lou, we'd know. He would have done something.
Unless he's waiting, unless he saw me and is going back to the ranch to alert the council that there's an FBI investigation happening.
The thought made Lou feel sick. If that had been Nathan, if he'd recognized her somehow despite her disguise and her being hidden in the back seat, then right now he could be driving back to Silver Creek Ranch to sound the alarm. And Ty was at that ranch. If the council discovered the FBI was investigating, if they thought their operations were compromised, what would they do to the people there? To the ranch hands and employees? To Ty? We're almost to the highway. Once we're off this access road, we'll be harder to track. They reached the end of the gravel road and turned onto the paved highway. Agent Walsh increased speed, putting distance between their vehicle and Silver Creek Ranch. Lou's encrypted phone buzzed again. Surveillance team reviewing footage. Black GMC Yukon entered Silver Creek Ranch property approximately 8 minutes before your departure. Timing suggests it was already on property when you arrived, not newly arriving. Cannot confirm if Nathan Price. Continue retreat to safe house. Lou read the message aloud to the agents. Agent Chen processed the information. If the SUV was already on the property when we arrived, then the driver was there during our tour. Could have been in one of the buildings, meeting with ranch management. We wouldn't have seen them.
Or it could have been someone else entirely, another council member. A delivery, anything.
But Lou's instincts were screaming that it had been Nathan, that the black SUV was his, that he'd been at Silver Creek Ranch while Lou was conducting her undercover tour, that they'd been on the same property at the same time without knowing it. Or had Nathan known? Had he seen the FBI vehicle? Seen Louise Parker and her associates touring the facility? Had he been watching from one of the buildings? We're 10 minutes from Elkridge. Once we're at the safe house, we can review everything with Agent Morrison and figure out next steps. Lou leaned back in her seat, feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. In the span of 2 hours, she'd discovered Ty Borden alive with erased memory, received warning that Nathan was in Montana, and possibly passed Nathan's vehicle on a council property access road. And she had no idea what any of it meant. No idea if her cover was intact or blown. No idea if she'd just made the most important discovery of the investigation or the most catastrophic mistake. All she knew was that nothing about this situation made sense anymore. Ty was supposed to be dead, but was alive. Nathan was supposed to be in Calgary, but was in Montana. Lou was supposed to be safely investigating from a distance, but had ended up face to face with impossible truths. And somewhere back at Silver Creek Ranch, Ty Borden Noah Smith was working with horses, completely unaware that his sister-in-law had just discovered him, completely unaware that he had a wife and daughter who'd been mourning him for 5 years, completely unaware of his entire life before Nathan had erased it. Lou in the FBI vehicle being driven away from Silver Creek Ranch, her face showing exhaustion and terror as she processed what had just happened. Had that black SUV been Nathan? Had he seen her? Was her cover blown? Behind them, visible through the rear window, the black SUV continuing towards Silver Creek Ranch's main buildings. Was Nathan in that vehicle? Was he going to discover evidence of Lou's investigation? Was he about to alert the council that the FBI was closing in? At Silver Creek Ranch, Ty Borden, Noah Smith, continuing his work with the horses, completely oblivious to the chaos swirling around him, unaware that Lou had discovered him, unaware that Nathan might be returning to the ranch, unaware of everything about his real life. And in Hudson, Amy was preparing to call Katie, preparing to reach out to the sister she'd driven away, completely unaware that Lou had just discovered Ty alive in Montana, unaware that her dead husband was working at a criminal facility with no memory, unaware that Nathan might have just discovered Lou's investigation. The collision everyone feared had happened. Multiple collisions. Actually, Lou and Ty. Lou and possibly Nathan, the investigation and the council's operations. But instead of clarity, there was only more confusion and danger. Too many impossible truths converging at once. Too many threats developing simultaneously. And no way to know which danger was most immediate, which truth was most important, which collision would be most devastating. The black SUV arrived at Silver Creek Ranch's main building and parked. The driver's door opened. But the episode ended before showing who emerged. Lou or Nathan? Nathan or Lou? Two people connected through Amy, now on opposite sides of a war that was escalating beyond anyone's control. The investigation had just become exponentially more complicated and infinitely more dangerous. And no one's, not Lou, not the FBI, not Amy, not even Nathan had any idea how this was going to end. That concludes today's episode. Lou was reeling from discovering Ty alive at Silver Creek Ranch with no memory of his past. She explained to the FBI agents that Ty supposedly died 5 years ago in Mongolia, but he's alive working as Noah Smith with erased memory. Then Marcus called with urgent news. They lost track of Nathan 3 hours ago. Last seen heading toward the Elkridge region where Lou was operating. The FBI ordered immediate retreat. As they drove away from Silver Creek Ranch on the access road, Lou spotted a black SUV approaching from behind, coming from the ranch. It looked exactly like Nathan's vehicle. Lou hid in the back seat while the black SUV passed them. The agents couldn't identify the driver through tinted windows, but it was a black GMC Yukon with Montana plates, Nathan's exact vehicle. The surveillance team later reported the SUV had been on ranch property during Lou's tour. The episode ended with uncertainty. Was it Nathan? Did he see Lou? Is her cover blown? The black SUV reached the ranch, and someone got out, but we didn't see who. Join us next time to discover if Nathan has found Lou and what happens when these colliding truths finally explode. If this episode terrified you, please like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cowboys and Cattle.